Yo, this series was fucking wild. I just got done watching American Primeval, and this is a limited series that's streaming on Netflix right now. It's only 6 episodes long. The shortest episode out of this whole bunch is episode 5. That's at like 36 minutes. Pretty good reason. But man, crazy cast of characters. What you have here is a classic like western, brutal, gory, um gritty story, and I'm definitely going to dive into spoilers, so you have been warned. Click off and come back when you finish watching everything here. So anyways, this like kind of throws you right into the mix of things. We get introduced to a bunch of different characters. The first bit of characters that we get introduced to are a mother and her son, Sarah and Devin. Sarah is on the run from, her husband, her abusive husband. She ended up killing him, so she also has bounty hunters on her head while also trying to traverse through this part of the West in Utah, and she gets thrown into the middle of absolute chaos. Also, we have characters like Isaac, where he's this loner character, but obviously you know that he's going to be the biggest badass of the show once it comes down to it. Then we have an interesting character that goes by the name of Two Moons. She's an Indian. She comes from this specific tribe. I'm drawing a blank on the name of the tribe, but she has an interesting backstory, as she was about to get SA'd, by a grown-ass man, and she was able to kind of get out of that situation and kill this guy and just run off, and she ends up crossing paths with Sarah and Devin along the road. And then we also get this husband and wife, Jacob Pratt and his wife, Abish. And man, I feel like out of all the characters, I feel like Jacob has got it the worst, because he's a Mormon. There's this whole kind of Mormon storyline where there's these like extremists that are going to war with the U.S. government, but he is kind of just, when you are first introduced to him, it seems like he's just one of the nice guys, until we get to this ambush where all these characters fucking just die in front of them. Like I said, Jacob probably gets the worst because he gets scalped, almost fully scalped, but he has to kind of walk around with half of his head like flopping and shit like that. That shit was crazy. And his whole storyline, he's looking for his wife Abish, but Abish is with Red Feather and whatnot. He's another kind of like tribal leader, does not fuck with the white dudes at all and whatnot. I still am kind of confused on like their kind of interaction. I guess he saw something in her, like a warrior spirit or something like that she was tough, because for her to see all the people, like all the other wives, I'm assuming, get fucking slaughtered, get their throats slit in front of her, and she not really make a budge, was pretty fucking crazy. You also have Virgil, that he is a guy that ends up stuck like wanting this bounty. That's all he cares about, is collecting this bounty on Sarah's head. And he also crosses paths with the other Mormons and stuff, and kind of uses them for his own kind of gain. So you have a lot of interesting characters that kind of just work through. You also have Jim Bridger. He's kind of runs this fort that the governor wants to take control of, because he feels like this will help him in his efforts to kind of combat the United States government. So And he also has his right hand, Wild Bill, which he also is an interesting character in all of this. But once all these kind of paths kind of collide, it's really interesting because you have these Mormons that are trying to frame the Indians for these attacks and stuff like that, but also trying to tie up loose ends. And you have Isaac, Sarah, Devin, and Two Moons trying to escape and get away from like these bounty hunters and people that are trying to collect. And like I said, you have Jacob trying to look for his wife, and this was all interesting. And I my one gripe with this series is like, damn man, it's only 6 episodes. They could have really stretched out a lot of the storylines into multiple seasons, maybe like 2 other seasons. I would have liked that because, man, you really start to like these characters as the series progresses. At first, Sarah gets annoying because it's like she just thinks everybody is so nice and she falls for the dumbest traps, but she learns very quickly, and the more traumatic and things that they kind of go through as a group, they form a tighter bond. And just the whole manipulation of how people view the Indians and that time period where, you know, Indians really weren't fucking with white people like that. Some were, others weren't. And the hatred that a lot of like people had for Indians at that time is really crazy. I like the brutality of this series. I feel like it's something I didn't expect. Like, everybody can get it, like men, women, and children. Like, kids be getting fucked up. Like, Devin literally got his shit rocked by a horse. Like, he fell off that horse and the horse was kicking the fuck out of him, even broke his fucking leg and shit. And shout outs to Devin, because he definitely is still a annoying as hell character until we get to like episode, was it 5, where they were debating on whether not to like cut off his leg, or what they ended up doing is just kind of pushing it back into place, cauterizing the wound and stuff like that. And I like that he kind of took it like a man. He's like, yeah, it's pain. You know, through this whole journey, it's like, man, it's really building their characters, making them tougher. And I'm not gonna lie, I got a little choked up at the end where they all had to kind of part ways. Just everybody had a fucking tragic end where everything led to this clash between the Indians, the Mormons, and the U.S. government. They got caught lacking. They got completely obliterated. The Mormons go to fuck with Red Feather's people. They all fucking pretty much die. And Abish ends up getting shot by her own husband, not known, by accident, and he ends up taking his own life. And I was just like, that story right there is absolutely tragic, and that's another storyline that they could have definitely fleshed out over like a season or 2 more. But the person that kind of gets a happy ending in all of this is the governor, because he gets what he wants. He gets the land. He gets to burn down this whole entire fort and use it to whatever he wants. You know, Isaac ends up losing his life, saving Sarah one last time, because Sarah's about to make the ultimate sacrifice for her kid and Two Moons and whatnot. Really interesting story, man. I just wish that it was longer. You know what I'm saying? They had a lot of interesting character moments, some that kind of fell flat. It is flawed for sure, but overall I enjoyed this. I think this is a very entertaining series. Definitely worth checking out. If you get around to checking this series out, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.